Welcome, One Piece TCG fans. My name is Genji. I go by Genji Chronicles, and welcome to my Market Watch Volume 4, where I'm going to focus on OP-04, Kingdoms of Intrigue. This is a set that really nobody wanted. Hopefully up until now, but we'll see, right? So I'm going to kind of focus on the first quarter of 2024, kind of similar to what I did to the previous 3 sets: Romance Dawn, Paramount War, and Pillars of Strength. So we want to see where these cards are going, how they're performing for the first quarter, and kind of compare them to what they've, the other sets, and hopefully where they're going in the future as well. I know with all the sets, the first 4 sets, this was one that nobody really, there wasn't as much excitement, I should say, as the other sets, and we'll kind of talk about that in a minute. But one thing I want to talk about is the cards, right? I thought the cards were fantastic looking, especially if you look at the Vivi card. That's an iconic scene. So if you're a fan of the anime and the manga, I only watch the anime, but this is an iconic scene, one that everyone remembers. So it's definitely a card that I like and one I want to get. And before I continue, I do want to thank you for taking your time out of your day to watch this. Hope I give you some good information and also hopefully entertain you as well. If you do like this content, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. It's free. It helps me out. I want to continue to do this down the road. It takes a little bit of my time, so hopefully you get entertained by this, and share the video as well if you want. All right, so let's kind of take a look at this set, right? So this was the 4th set to come out. Romance Dawn, Paramount War, and Pillars of Strength were the first 3. This was the least anticipated set, I would say, to come out. Came out on September 22nd, 2023. MSRP was $4.49 a pack. Estimated about 108 a booster box. So if you were collecting One Piece from the beginning, and I was actually collecting when Pillars of Strength came out, then you would know that this box was actually, you could get this box below 108. So with all these new fans of the TCG coming in, it's kind of interesting to see that you don't get 108 anymore, below MSRP, similar to like how Pokemon, right? Pokemon Center has boxes at 144, but you could get booster boxes for less than that. So this was probably the last set that did that, obviously with the hype of Awakening of New Era, and it brought in a whole lot of new fans, and especially with those chase cards. But for this set, one thing I want to discuss is it also was the last set to have a box topper. So you got this dash pack, and in the dash pack you get one of these 6 cards. We haven't had a promo pack like this since, so I don't know if fans like the promo pack, or if Bandai just is moving away from it because they're doing other products, such as the premium collection booster pack that they're having in the future, and also the small set, the memorial collection, with only like 60 or 90 cards, I can't remember, but that's definitely a smaller set as well. Alright, so let's kind of take a look at the performance of this set. So since its release, right, so it started at about 108, but you can see currently it's at about, I didn't put the price, but it's about $199 a booster box, so close to $99 investment gain. So I think 198 or something like that, I can't remember. But so if you can see the chart there, it dipped below close to $80. I picked up, I think I have 3 boxes around $80, and even I didn't collect this set just because at the time I didn't have much money, obviously, but I was rather collecting Pillars of Strength and Paramount War. I couldn't get Romance Dawn, but I was getting the other 2 because they're about 170 for the Paramount War, and about 100 for the well, actually about 80 when I got the Pillars of Strength. So it's interesting the performance of this box going up. Alright, so let's kind of take a look at each group of subsets of cards that this set had. the first set that I wanted to talk about with the SB cards. I like these SB cards. They kind of look like the manga Alt-Art leader cards, to be honest, but some of it has a little bit more detail and stuff like that. So let's kind of take a look at the performance of these cards. And this, I just want to do a caveat, this is for the first quarter, January to March 31st, and technically January 19th, because when I did look up these cards, I couldn't find it from January 1st, so to use January 19th. The other thing is I didn't want to use this, today's date, because I wanted to go by quarters. That's what the stock market does, so that you can kind of track performance by quarters. And that way you can look at your cards whenever you see this video, you can kind of see where your cards are at compared to where it was on March 31st, which is the end of the first quarter. I know a lot of these cards, the prices have changed from what I'm going to show you, so we'll kind of go over that as well. Okay, so the first card, and I reordered these by price. Some of them, here or there, it's going to be a little off, but majority of them is just going to be ordered by price. So the lowest price in the SP set is the Magellan, and I also track the sales and the transactions, because we want to see if these cards are moving, the velocity of cards. Once they start to drop below 15-20 sales in a quarter, then I'm not going to take the time to track it. So quarter one sales 101, it started at $54.98. March 31st is $29.60, so that's a $25 drop, 46% rate of return. So not looking good starting off with the SB cards. The next card is the Sakazuki. So this one was at 113 sales, started at $45 on January 19th, March 31st ended at $28. So still healthy transactions at 4,000. But that's a drop of $17, 37%. Alright, the next one is the Newgate, which, look at this card, look at the detail on this card. 141 sales, $52 it started at, but then it did move up to $63.95, had over 8,000 in transactions, so very healthy on the transactions. $11.95 a gain, and 22%, so not bad for the first gain of the SP cards. The next one is the Trafalgar Law, 105 sales, $85.99 it started at, down to $63.49, so about 7,800 in transactions. So loss of $22, still 26% down for the first quarter. The number one card, according to price, is the Boa Hancock, 116 in sales, $184.99 it started at. It did dip down to $144.95, so that's about a 21% drop. $40 per card, 19,100 on the transactions. Like I said, I wanted you to use quarter one, so that you could, whenever you look at this video, let's say it's March, April 30th or June 30th or 5th, whatever date you want to look at your cards, kind of see if it's up or down, because I want to know if we're at, is this a bottom for these cards, or is it still going to dip a little lower. So if you had bought the set in January, you could have bought all 5 cards for $452.66. Currently it's at $329.99. So about $122 loss on your investment if you bought into these cards on January 19th. 27% down. Only one of the cards was positive, which was the Newgate. But like I was mentioning, what do you guys think, guys and girls? What do you think about these cards? Do you think these cards are at the bottom? Are they going to go dip even further? What was the sentiment with the set? Was it high in January and that was just a peak, and now it's going down to what it should have been? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, so I was asking, where is this going as far as the SB cards? Because usually the SB cards are maintaining their value for the other sets, which I'll go over in another video. So we'll kind of track that down the road as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the next set. which is the Alt Art Leaders. This is the most collectible set that people like to grab. So I kind of want to show you the differences of what happened over the previous sets. So in the first two sets, they went with the manga heads. The Romance Down and Paramount War went with like close-up manga heads, is what referred to, and that I got from Wasi Plays. So I'll put credit with Wasi Plays down below. The next one was Pillars of Strength, and they went with this like chalk art style. I'm not even sure what kind of style you call this, but I like them as well. I like these styles. I haven't pulled a leader card from this set, so I do like this. No, actually I have. Yeah, no, I have. I pulled the Virgo and can't remember the other one. All right, so for this set, Bandai went with a new art style, which was the crew set, like the crew cards, where the leader up front and people that either they're associated with behind them. I say associated with because some of the cards are captain cards and their crews behind them, and some of the cards are like this one with Rebecca. She's not a captain, so she has Kiros behind her, with Kiros in his two different forms. But love this card. Alright, so let's take a look at the group. Like I was mentioning with the art, I know some people, because I was reading some comments when this came out, they didn't like the art. Some people thought it was a little bit too anime, which I get when you're looking at the Doflamingo and the crocodile in the background. However, I still think it's cool seeing all those characters on one card, especially with the Vivi, seeing that iconic scene in the one card. Alright, so let's kind of take a look at the performance here of this subset. So Isho, right, the lowest price card as of today, 221 sales for the first quarter. It started at $35.97, and then at March 31st is at $16.83. That's a huge drop. That's 53% on the drop, about $19 per card. Still pretty healthy on the transactions. So over 220 transactions, right? That's pretty good. So, are people just getting rid of the cards, but they're getting scooped up, but obviously at a much lower price. The next one is the Queen, 237 sales. January 19th, about $40, and March 31st, about $27.65. So a dip of 30%, which is still pretty big. $12 on the loss. Still pretty healthy on the transactions with a little over 4,200. And the next one is the Doflamingo, 194 in sales. January 19th, about $64.99. Dropped down to $43.20 as of March 31st. A little over 8,000 in transactions. You'd have been down $21.79 for the quarter, and a little over 30% on the card. Still, like, yeah, you could tell from the versus the SPs, the sales are close to 200, while the other ones were in the hundreds. All right, the next one is the Crocodile, $49.99 where it started at, in January 19th. March 31st, $38.15. Drop a little over 20% at 23%, and it lost about $11 per card. All right, the next one is, like I said, one of my favorite cards because of the scene. The Vivi, $211 sales, $85.99 it started at, $57.92 is where it's at as of March 31st, and then a little over 15,000 in transactions. So drop over 32%, and lost about 28% on the card. The number one card is that Rebecca, 184 in sales. It started at $87.95 on January 19th, and then at March 31st you could have had it for $58. So drop of $29 per card, and 34% on the card. So it looks like the average is about 20-30%, right? Isho is obviously 50%, but you could see about 20-30% per card. So back in January, had you bought the set on January 19th, you would have paid $364.89. And currently, for all those cards, you could get them currently, or excuse me, not currently, but as of March 31st at $241.75. So that's $123 loss, 33%, return on your investment. But like I was mentioning with the SP cards, 0 out of 6 were positive for the quarter, which is insane in my opinion. That's pretty crazy, especially with the quality of the cards and the artwork on the cards, and also the rarity of the cards. So it's like I was saying about the SPs, is this a trend or is this a dip? Are we at the bottom for these cards? Are they going to continue to go lower? So that's what I was saying. Go look at your TCG Player eBay and go look at the price of the alt art leaders today, and see if they continue to go down. Maybe you could hold off for a little bit. Maybe it's going to go down further, or is it going to go up? One thing I will mention is, I know Bandai at the time of this recording had reprinted Romance Dawn, Paramount War, and Awakening of New Era. So they skipped 3 and 4, OP3 and OP4, which is Pillars of Strength and the Kingdom of Intrigue. Because like I was mentioning, those are the 2 boxes that didn't move as much as the other ones, so they dropped below MSRP. You could have bought them, at LGSs and online LGSs for relatively cheap or close to MSRP. So that that's interesting. So I think that maybe potentially if they don't do a reprint of the set once they sell out, then these cards may bounce different way. Okay, so let's take a look at the alt art character cards. So let's take a look at the whole group. So like I said, I separated for this set, I separated it out from the SPs. I know in the last couple videos I had the SPs in there, but this way, because I know SPs are a little bit on a different category because they're a little bit higher value, so I'm going to start separating them out and keep the alt art character cards separate. But I will obviously include the manga because I don't want to keep that card by itself, so it's going to go in the alt art character cards. Or I should put in the SP cards next time. Okay, so let's talk about the cards that didn't make it to, I'm going to try to focus on cards over $10, and anytime a card does get over $10, I'll try to, let you know and kind of celebrate that occasion. Like a promotion. Alright, so the first card is a treble. Obviously, it's a character that's, nobody really favors, I should say. $6.25 it started at, down to $2.99 as of March 31st, so 50% drop. $3 loss on the card. The next one is a Mr. Gem. $7.93 it started at on January 19th, dropped down to $3.40. Another 50 plus 50 percent dropper, right? 57% drop, loss of $4. We got the Pell. I remember when watching people open these boxes, nobody wanted the Pell. But look at the Pell. At January 19th, $7. January 31st, $7.02. So maintained, didn't lose money, at least unlike the other two. Probably nobody wanted the treble more than the Pell as well. So I think those two were the worst. Alright, the next one is the Diamante. The Diamante started at 10, went down to $5.99. Another big dropper, right? 40%. Lots of $4 on the card. The next one is the Who's Who. It could have had it at $15 or could have sold it, right? On the other side, you could have sold it at $15. Currently, March 31st, as of March 31st, $8.99. Lost another 40%, $6 on the card. So like I said, go look these cards up. Are they continuing to drop? Is it at the bottom? Are they going to go to zero? Let me know. The next one is the Kairos. $14.99 started at, $6.99 it's currently at, so $8 loss, 53 down. The other way you can look at it, these cards may be a good time to just grab them just to have in your collection since they're relatively affordable. Alright, so let's take the group that did make it over $10. All right, so the first one is the Kaido. That's right, big sales, right? $250. Because they're a little bit cheaper, obviously a little bit less expensive, so a little bit more affordable. $19 it started at, still dropped, 37% down to 11.85 as of March 31st. 3,800 in transactions. All right, the next one is the Sugar, which is not my favorite look. I always, like I said when I opened this box, my favorite. I know they're gonna do different cards, so it's gonna come out eventually. But is this scene? So I'm gonna put it up, and hopefully they do a card for this scene. But in any respect, for this card, 225 in sales, start at $24, dropped down at $13.65. Had over 4,000 in transactions, so 40%, 43% loss, down to $10 on the loss. Excuse me. All right, the next one, look at this card. This is a pretty cool card in my opinion. Is the Crocodile, 226 sales, $17.98 start at, down to $12.90. Transaction 3,498. So loss of $5, 28% on the loss. The next one is the Gear 2 Monkey D. Luffy. So I like this card. $217 or sales, $25.98 is where it started at, dropped down to $13, which is close to the Crocodile. So $12.98 on the loss, close to 50% drop, right? So it might be a good time to grab these cards. The next one is the All Miss Sunday, or Nico Robbins. 272 sales, $29.90 on the January 19th, down to $23.28 on March 31st. So still 20% drop, 22%, down $6 on the card. So not too bad in my opinion. I still think that's relatively affordable. The next one, so I did pull this card. The next one is the Don Quixote do Flamingo. 233 sales, $44.64 started at, March 31st was at $39.40. So $9,790 on the transactions. So 11% drop, loss of $5, not too bad. Not like this card. The next one is the Sanji, 163 sales, started at $59. March 31st went down to $45. Healthy transactions, 8,400. Loss of 23%, loss of $14 per card. But pretty cool card in my opinion. This is when he's learning his moves with his flame kick. All right, the next one is the Capone Gang Beji, 232 sales, $46.98 January 19th, and then down to $36.99 as of March 31st. So 9,700 transactions. So $10 loss, down 21%. All right, the next one is the Sabo, 238 in sales, $54 to start at, dropped down to $44.50 on March 31st. So pretty healthy on the transactions with a little over 11,700. Drop of 17%, loss of close to $10. Still pretty cool card. The next one is the Yamato. People definitely like this card. $205 sales, $75 it started at, dropped down to $64 as of March 31st. So still pretty, pricey, right? 14,200 transactions. So just $11 on the loss, but 14% on the reduction on the percentage. And then the number one card we all know is obviously going to be the manga. Like I mentioned, I'm going to probably put this in the SP category or its own category next time. This one had 21 sales, so 740 to start at, but then a big drop, 498.96 on March 31st. So 13,000, and obviously just because of the price of the card in transactions. So you can see $241 loss, 32% on the loss of cards. All right, So kind of recap, on January 19th, you could have got this whole set for, you know, $457.66 without the manga sabo, and you could have got it on March 31st for $339 without the manga sabo. So loss of 117, drop of 25%. Only one out of the cards was positive, and I didn't even put it up there. It was the Pell, which only gained 2 cents. All the other cards were negative, but like I said, average 25%. However, like I mentioned before, I posed a question: is this the bottom? Are these cards going to go down even further? Do these cards, are they not playable? Is that the reason why nobody wanted these cards? Because when I look at the artwork, you know, like both these cards that I have on screen, if you watch the anime, epitomizes the characters on the anime, in my opinion. So 6 out of 17 were under $10. Hopefully they get promoted to over $10, and then, you know, we could, you know, kind of showcase them as well. All right, so I kind of, like I mentioned, I kind of took out the secret rares from the SPs and the alt arts. So in this set there were 2 secret rares and 2 alt art secret rares, so alt art versions of the secret rare. And so they were the Vivi and the Don Quixote Rosinante. I have a hard time saying Vivi's first name, so that's why I'm trying to avoid it. Nefeltari. So I just call her Vivi. And let's take a look. All right, let's start with the Don Quixote Rosinante. So January 19th, and this is a normal secret rare. So with the secret rares, you get a case. You're going to get, what is it, 6 boxes in a case, or 12 boxes in a case, right? 12 boxes in a case, and out of the 12, 8 are going to contain secret rares. So these are a little bit more common to get. So $5.14, and then $8.23 you could have had on March 31st. So up $3, gain 60% for this card, secret rare. That's pretty common. But the next one is the alt art version. That's 280 sales. This one did gain over $10, is over $10, so I'm going to go more in detail. So 280 sales, $22 it started at, $25.86 is what you could have had it on March 31st. So $3 gain, up 17%. So interesting that these 2 cards, he's an interesting character if you watch the anime, in my opinion. He's interesting, let's just put it that way. But they did gain in value. Not my favorite character, but I don't hate the character neither. Alright, so let's take a look at the next couple cards. So the first one is a secret rare Vivi. So it started at $6.20 and it dropped down to $2.99. Quick story. My very first box of Kingdoms of Intrigue I did open. I watched some of the box openings on YouTube, but I didn't really pay attention. So I had pulled this card, and I like Vivi because, like I said, I watch the anime. I like Vivi, and I like this card. I thought this card looked cool in the gold borders. I didn't know that this was a more common card, so I was kind of disappointed when I saw the value of the card when I looked it up. But I still have it in my collection. Probably will never get rid of it. But you can pick up more for $2.99 on March 31st. So quick, take a look, see what the card is at currently, and see if it went up from $2.99 or went down. Alright, the next one is the alt art version. This one is over $10, but just, barely. $2.31 in sales, $26 it started at on January 19th. Went down to $12.20 on March 31st. 4,400 in transactions. Interesting to note that, the artwork is, I'm going to get to know the artist as well, but it's, completely different than the artwork for the normal secret rare, right? So it's to each one's style, each one's preference. I like them both, but I prefer the one on the left of normal secret rare just because I watch the anime. But if you know me and I talk about the cards, I always like the different artwork that One Piece presents. That's what drove me to collect the set versus any other type of card game set, like the Weiss Schwartz with Attack on Titan, for example, which I like the show, but I saw the cards, they just look like anime cells. They didn't look any different. So on January 19th, you could have had all 4 cards for $59.34. March 31st, you could have had all 4 cards for $49.23. So it still dropped 16 to, close to 17%. $10 on your investment or collection value if you had got it on January 19th. So maybe it's a good time to pick it up. So like I was saying, is this an affordable entry point collection? Just collecting secret rares would be, if you don't want to spend a whole lot trying to collect all the alt art leaders or trying to collect the SPs, or just the abundance of alt art character cards, collecting the secret rares and the alt art versions may be a good way to start a small mini collection. For $50, not too bad. That's less than a booster box. Alright, so let's take a look at the more common cards. The super rares. I include these number 1 because I like the artwork. I think they step up the game from the commons and uncommons with the super rares. Plus, some cards, super rares, do get promoted past the $10, and we want to track that. And plus, you get 7 out of 10. These are guaranteed. These get counted towards the value of your box. Alright, so let's kind of go over the super rares. Alright, so we got Pell coming in at number 10, obviously. 70 cents. Started at January 19th, down to 29 cents. So loss of 58%, 41 cents on the investment. Crocodile was at 92 cents, dropped to 49 cents at the end of the quarter. Another big drop of 46%, 43 cents on the card. The next one is the Gear 2 Monkey D. Luffy. This one was a $1 card though, so $1.64. But man, look at that drop, 25 cents. So $1.39 on the loss. So hopefully nobody loaded up on this card or tried to do a buyout. 84% on the loss. The next one we got the Kaido. Again, was over $1, $1.10, but still at 70 cents. So lost 40 cents, down 36%. The next one is the Almost Sunday. This one is at 182, but at the end of the quarter was 130, so it did maintain over $1. So 52 cents on the loss, 28%. So this is the lowest percentage loss so far in the bottom 5. Let's hope the next 5, top 5, do better. All right, the next one is the Sugar. 325, started at end of the quarter 150. Loss of 53%, so $1.75. So no, doesn't look like it's getting better. The next one is the Don Quixote do Flamingo. 427 it started at, end of the quarter at $3. So drop of close to 30%. 127 on the loss. Can we have one super rare that went up? Oh. The next one is the Yamato. $7.97. March 31st was at $4.99. So loss of 37%, close to $3 on your card. The next one is a Sanji. $10. Down to $9.48 at the end of the quarter. So at least this one maintained its value. We're looking for small wins, people. 52 cents on the card, $5.20%, or excuse me, 5% on the card. So we're looking for small wins. And then the number 1 card is a Sabo. All right, we do have a gainer. So 1,745 on the card, $8.99. It started at $12.80. It ended the quarter at. So that's a gain of $3.81, 42%. And then look at the transactions, right? Healthy transactions at 1,745 transactions, $19,000 in transactions. So pretty healthy on the transactions. Let me know in the comments why this card moved. Is it playable? Is it the meta? Like I said, I'm still learning the game, but I can't devote much time to playing because I'm trying to do, videos and also try to run my online shop. More than one piece TCG /shop if you want to take a look at some of the cards that I have, or at least sealed products. Alright, so on January 19th, you could have had this whole set for $40.66. and then March 31st you could have had the set for $34.80. So not too bad on the drop for the super rares, $5.86. 14% on the loss. So only 1 out of 10 was positive, which was a Sabo. And kind of similar, this is an affordable subset of cards that you know, if you want to collect One Piece and collect some really cool cards that have some shine to it, these all have foiling. You know, pretty affordable, right? $35 for the set. For super rares for 10 is, I think, is pretty good. All right, so let's kind of go over the dash pack. You know, I won't spend a whole lot of time on these. I thought these cards value would maintain or go, you know, did perform better than what it'll show. So we'll see if I continue following these cards. But for the pack itself, I kind of looked it up, kind of wanted to show you. January 19th, 385. It's down at 279, so 27%. Loss of $1.06 if you kind of held these dash packs. I do have one dash pack. I bought one box from an online seller, and they gave me the dash pack. And this was the only store out of, I think, 4 or 5 that I ordered from that gave me the dash pack. Everyone else kept them, and, you know, to sell, which I don't blame LGS for doing that, but I do appreciate the one that did it. I'll look up who I got it from, and if I remember and I can find it, I'll put it up on screen. All right, so the dash packs, kind of similar to the super rares. They're not too expensive. 37 cents for the Speed Jill, 27 cents it ended the quarter at. Drop of 12 cents, so 32% on the card. The Buggy, people like Buggy. I like this card. 34 cents down to 31, so not too bad on the loss. 3 cents, 8% drop. Next one is Boodle, so 88 cents down to 50 cents, and so 43% loss, 38%. So if you watch the anime, you know who these two characters are, Chow Chow and Boodle. And if you watch the live action, I think Boodle is represented by the mayor of the town that Buggy in the tent. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong. All right, the next one is a Luffy, 98 cents down to 75 cents at the end of the quarter. Drop of 23%, 23-cent loss per card. The next one is a Khalifa. Ooh, so this card went up. So January 19th, $2 went up to $2.99 at the end of the quarter. So 99 cents. But because of the value, so, you know, affordable, 49% gain. So if you loaded up on that, you would have had a lot. You would have been all right. But if you loaded up on this card, you would not have been all right. This one is the Shirahoshi. January 19th, $12. March 31st, it went down to $4.93. That's a 58% loss, down to $7 per card. You're a Weepy Hoshi if you have this card. So another subset that's pretty affordable, $16.57 on January 19th, down to $9.73 at the end of the quarter. So big loss of $6.84 of 41%. So, you know, is this the last box topper that One Piece is going to have? What do you guys and girls think? If it is, I'm going to hang on to that dash pack just because of that. If it isn't, you know, hopefully they do add that. I like the spice that they have with these little promo packs, but I know they're doing it with the 3 brothers starter deck, and people don't like that because it forces people to buy multiple starter decks for no reason. So, what do you guys think about the box toppers in a booster box, though? Do you think it's a good idea? You know, let me know. Alright, so let's kind of go over. I like to rank the top 5 cards. Have a little bunch of things that we want to celebrate, right, for each set. So we're going to go by the top 5 cards by the numbers sold. So this is by quantity, and you only are eligible if you are $10 and above, because I know if you're under $10, you're going to be way over on these these cards. So number 5, we have that VV, the Alt Art VV Secret Rare. Had 231 sales. At number 4, we have the Crocodile Leader Alt Art card, Alt Art Crocodile Leader card, with 269 sales. So pretty healthy on the sales. Number 3, we have the All Miss Sunday with 272 sales, so just barely beat out Crocodile. The Alt Art All Miss Sunday, or the Miss All Sunday, excuse me. Number 2, we have the Don Quixote Rosinante with 280 sales, the Alt Art Secret Rare. And for the number 1 card by number sold is the Sabo Super Rare, just the regular Super Rare with 1,745 sales. And again, this is because of the affordable price of $12.80, obviously, and $8.99 on January 1st. So great card. All right, the next one we're going to do is the top 5 by dollars transactions. So this is the, you have to have a combination of moving the cards, right? So, number sold, but you also have to have a good price, high price, during that time between January 19th and March 31st. So number 5, we have the Sabo, Alt Art Sabo. So this one had $11,721 in transactions. That's due to the $238 in sales, right? And the average price looks like it's between, 44 and 54, so it's about, $50. The number 4 card is the Manga Sabo, with $13,000 and a little over 13,000 in transactions. Obviously much lower on the sales, but because of the high dollar amount. Number 3, we have the Yamato Secret Alt Art, the Alt Art Yamato, one of my favorite cards. This one had $14,247 in sales, so pretty healthy on the sales for this card. The number 2 card, we have the Super Rare Sabo. So even though it's a lower price card, just because of the transactions, the sales, 1745, the transactions, 19,000 in transactions. And then the number 1 card by dollars transacted is the Boa Hancock. So a little over $19,000. I gotta be exact because it barely beat out that Sabo. So $19,135 in total sales. So it's the number 1 card by dollars transacted. Alright, so the next category is a little bit more important. Top 5 by percentage increase. So which card moved the most? So when I was putting this together, I was getting nervous if were there even 5 cards that moved, since it looked like the majority of the cards went down. Alright, so the number 5 card was that Alt Art Pell. We have a 2-cent gain, so 0.29% on the card. The number 4 card was the Don Quixote Rosinante Alt Art Secret Rare, so 17.55% gain. The number 3 card is that Super Rare Sabo. Look at the jump, 42.38%. If you had this card, it's only a $3 gain, but if you had this card, you gain 42%. The number 2 card we have is that Khalifa. The Super Rare Khalifa. I only gained 99 cents, but that's good for 49.5% gain. The number 1 card to gain is the Secret Rare Don Quixote Rosinante. So 60% up, but only $3 on the gain, right? So pretty good. Alright, the top 5 by dollar increase. So with this set, unlike the other sets, they're pretty much the same top 5 that you saw in the previous 5. They're one and the same, however the order's changed. So the number 5 card, obviously top 5 by dollar increase. We already know 2 cents. Is that Pell? Alt Art Pell. Number 4 is the Khalifa at 99 cents. Number 3, we have the Rosinante Secret Rare at $3.09. The number 2 is the Sabo at $3.81. And the number $1 gainer is the Alt Art Secret Rare with $3.86, the Rosinante. So those are your top $5 increases. So you could, as you can see, for the first quarter for Kingdoms of Intrigue, the dollar gainers weren't as high as the previous sets, but this could be due to because it's a it's a newer set as well. So we want to give it time to mature and grow as well. So we'll talk about that later. All right, so let's kind of go over the box value estimate. I like to kind of see, just the estimate, just to kind of see, right? I know we're not going to get a full value of your box. You're not expecting that. We always talk about the fund cost, so you're always going to expect to lose some of it, but we still want to see how it compares to other sets. All right, so this set current price is at $199. I believe at the end of the quarter, though, it's a little different, but I'll go over that as well. All right, so as you know, you get 7 super rares. So each super rare is going to be about $3.48 on average. You get 7 of them, so you're going to get $24 in value right out the gate. The next one is the average Alt Art Leader cards. So about $40 per card. So if you pull an Alt Art Leader, you're going to get about $40 in value on average. And then the SP card is, there's 5 of them, so each one's about $65.99. Okay, so the average alt arts, so there's, we're including the value is also including the SR for, the alt arts for the secret rares. So divided by 19 instead of 17, that's going to be close to $20, about $19.89 in value. The average secret rare, I got to put this in there because it's part of the configuration that you might get, is $5.61. So unfortunately, if you do pull secret rare, you're not going to be happy, and I'll show you the reason why. Alright, so the next one, like I said, we're going to go by the rough estimated value by configuration. So one configuration you can get is you're going to get, when you open a booster box, you're going to get either 2 to 3 hits. Everyone knows this. You're going to get 7 super rares. So the first configuration for Kingdoms of Intrigue is you're going to, and this is just from looking online, kind of look at what the box hit rate was. So this seems to be the most common configurations. So one of them is you get 1 secret rare, and you're going to get 1 alt art. So plus your 7 super rares. So that's going to leave you with about $49.86 in value. So if you bought this box at 180 to 200, you get $50 in value. You're going to be a sad one-piece pirate. I know it's not about the value, but we still want to have at least some value when we open our booster boxes. The next one is you're going to get 1 secret rare and 2 alt arts. So you could get about $70 in value, $69.72. All right, so still inching closer to the value of the box, but just not high, and not quite there yet. The next configuration you can get is 1 alt art and 2 alt art leaders. So about $84.54 in value. And then the last configuration is you get 1 alt art and 1 SP. So if you get alt art, you get the better cards. I don't know why they don't give you a secret rare and SP, but 1 alt art and 1 SP, that's going to give you about $130 in value. So that's pretty close to the value of the box if you get this configuration. All right, so let's kind of go over the value by configuration. So just pretty much divided by the value of the box. I used $1.99, which is the current value. I should have done it by the quarter, but I'll try to do that next time. So if you get the first configuration, you're not happy. You're going to be about 25% of value. And again, I'm not saying that these cards may not grow into the value of the box, because they can. Okay, if you bought this box at $77-$80, well, you're close to your value of your box, right? So it's not too bad. So it does depend on when you get the value. And yes, I do understand, had you not opened it, you could have sold it for $199. So I totally get that. All right, the next one is the secret rare 2 alt arts. You're going to get about 35%. The next one is 1 alt art leader and 2 alt arts. You're going to get about 42%. And then the last one is 1 alt art leader and 1 SP. You're going to get about 65%. So, you know, that's not too bad if you get that 1 alt art and 1 SP. All right, so one last configuration. This is the one that, you know, it's hard to get, but it's going to replace the secret rare slot. So instead of getting a secret rare, you're going to get a manga Sabo. So you'll still get the alt art as your second hit. You won't get a secret rare. You won't get the manga and an alt art leader, or a manga and an SP. You'll get a manga and an alt art. So if you get the manga Sabo, well, then that brings your value to 543.21 for the 1 alt art, and 563.10 for the 2 alt art configuration. So as you see, I already pulled it up. If you pull 1 alt art, you're going to be, at $199 a box, you'll be at 272% value of your box. So obviously that's the chase card, but you will be up, over 200% on your box value. And then if you get the 2 alt arts, obviously it's going to be a little bit more. You'll be at 282%. Okay. All right. So Paramount War, just kind of comparisons, right? With the manga ace, if you put the manga ace in that configuration, and with those first 2 sets, I just did the average. So I didn't do a breakdown. So this is just average, but that would be about 322%. And then with Romance Dawn, it's a whopping 553% if you pull the manga Shanks. So obviously it's the first set. And then Pillars of Strength with the Manga Soldier King. Like I said, I did more of a range because I broke it down by the configuration. So that's about 245% to 284% value if you pulled the Manga Soldier King. So you could see that with the manga Sabo, you're going to be very competitive with the Pillars of Strength. And again, these are very early in its lifespan, so it has room to mature and grow. Whereas Romance Dawn, Paramount War, have they matured? Let me know. Alright, so quick value comparison, as I kind of mentioned. Kingdom of Intrigue, you're going to pull about 25 to 65% of the box value. I did put it for the calculation, I did put it from January 1st to the end of the quarter. So January 1st it was going for 151. At the end of March 31st, it was going for 168. So I did look it up. I didn't use 199, so I used 168. So I want to do apples to apples comparison for the other sets. So that's giving you an 11% gain, about $16.90 on the box. The next one is Pillars of Strength. So that one will give you a range of, without the manga, right? So 35 to 75% of the box value. It's a little bit higher than Kingdom of Intrigue. However, had you invested and bought this box on January 1st, you'd be at 248.44, and then at the end of the quarter it'd be 281.99. So $33 up and 13% gain. So pay attention to these two while I go over the next two, the first 2 sets. So Paramount War, again, I didn't do the range, I just kind of did an average, so it's a little bit different. So that was one, you got about 42% of your average, right, if you open the box. But that one, if you bought that on January 19th, it'd be 371, and then on March 31st, at the end of the quarter, it'd be about 396. So 25% up, but then look at the rate of return. It's about half the other two. It's only 6.88% up from January 1st. Okay. One thing I will know as well, I'm on March, I think January, March, April, May, like May 15th or May 20th, close to May 20th, and this box has not moved from $3.99, so it's only up very, very minimal from even at the end of the quarter. Alright, the last one is Romance Dawn with 49% average box value. Look at this one though. So on January 1st, this box is at $5.43, and then on March 31st, excuse me, it's at $499.99. That's a drop of 8%, drop of $43. And can anybody guess the reason why? Well, obviously we know the reason why. It's because that they were announced a reprint. So people in the UK at the Bandai official store, they were able to walk in and buy Romance Dawn for MSRP, which is insane. About $144, I think they were $134, something like that. So you could walk in and buy Romance Dawn at the UK store. The one in Plano, Texas, I think they also got a small reprint, so that may affect it as well, right? The other 3 sets at the time did not get announced reprints. I think Paramount War did. They were included in that reprint. So that's what you want to kind of think about. So are those 2 sets matured? Are they not going to go up as much as these 2 latest sets? So that's what I kind of want to think about as well, right? Are these newer sets have more time, more value to gain versus these other first 2 sets where they may have peaked out and their gain will be very slow and steady and, you know, not be as to the moon as they say as the other ones. Alright, so final thoughts. So this was an eye-opener looking at these cards versus the other sets, because the other sets had, you know, about 50% going up, 50% going down, but this set had like 90% going down. So singles market versus sealed market, right? The booster box, kind of similar. It dropped, you know, back as you saw, right? MSRP was 104. It dropped to less than 80 and, you know, wasn't moving. However, as you saw, it recovered and started moving past MSRP, where it's currently at 199. What about these singles? Are these singles, you know, from what everyone says, right? Sealed boxes, they only can go down in volume or in availability, right? Once you open a sealed box, it's out of the system. Whereas singles market, you can only gain in availability, right? So once boxes are open, the single markets start to increase. However, the single markets do, right? They're supposed to go up eventually. So I'm kind of curious about that. So this is my, like I said, this is my first foray into TCGs. It's because I love One Piece. So I'm learning as I go, like why these this set specifically has dropped so low. Is it because of meta as well? Is it because of the gameplay? Are the other sets doing better because their cards are more desirable for the gameplay? So like I mentioned, is it undervalued? Is it at the bottom? You know, that's the end of the first quarter, but take a look at the cards today. I know with some of these cards I kind of looked at, they were higher than what they were at the end of March 31st, which is good to see. But I didn't look at every card. As I keep referencing, I think this VV card is iconic. I think it's going to be a collector's item, so I'm going to definitely pick it up sooner than later. Alright, and like I mentioned, the cards are beautiful. And also, the last thing, first time for sets, at least in my opinion, first time for anything is something that may be desirable. So this is the first set with the first time with those crew leader cards. So who knows, this may be a, you know, one-time thing, and then these alt art leader cards might be, you know, super collectible because they never go back to them again. And even if they do crew cards again, this is still the first time that they did it. So that's how I look at it. Alright, well, thanks for joining me for your time. I know I spent a long time discussing Kingdoms of Intrigue, probably more than you wanted to hear, especially the way the performance of the set, and also because it's the least desirable set. But in my opinion, this is just my opinion, you know, you got to think about is where are these sets going? Is Kingdom of Intrigue, you know, is One Piece TCG dying? if it's not dying, then what's going to happen with this set? So, you know, maybe it'll increase in value. I'm going to hold on to my cards, because once I hear that I'm hoping that Bandai doesn't reprint this set anymore, and then maybe make these cards a little bit more desirable, because currently, as you see, nobody appears to want these cards. But thank you for your time. Like, subscribe, and comment. Please comment. I read all the comments. I don't have very many comments, but I am gaining in subscribers, so I appreciate that as well. So if you're new to the channel, I appreciate your time and discovering my channel. I'm small, I'm new, I'm just a one-man operation. And if you're a returning visitor, thank you for your time as well. Hope you like my content, and I'll continue to produce more insights into One Piece. And also I'm going to do some box opening as well, and product reviews as well. All right, hope you have a good day. Thank you. Bye.